Good afternoon. Thank you for coming to the first annual, hopefully annual, 2015 MedWest Speaker Series featuring therapeutic modalities. We have 3 guest speakers that have flown in to speak to us today. Before we get to that, though, I'd like to welcome you all for attending live in person. For some of you that may not know this, we are broadcasting this live to people across the country, some folks in the States, and I'm not too sure there's a couple people in Europe, but if there are, hi Europe. Anyhow, this is the first time we're doing it, so we hope it runs smoothly. If you have any questions, again, just let us know. Again, thanks for attending. Everybody out there in the virtual world, thank you for attending as well. I'd really like to thank MedWest for being one of the sponsors. I'd really like to thank Mount Royal University for hosting, the Alumni Association for their donations as well, and all the volunteers that have made this possible. So I'd like to give them a round of applause. Thank you. Just some logistical things. First of all, we have 3 speakers and we'll have a break in between each of the speakers. So you'll have an opportunity to grab some refreshments, go to the bathroom and get your texting in. But we'll ring the bell. Nick, my man, will ring the bell to get you guys back in. This is what it sounds like. Fantastic. So when you hear that, please hurry back. We're going to start right away and try to stay on time. We will have a question and answer period available depending on how time flows. We'll have that facilitated by Mark Lefebvre, and we'll kind of play it by ear, but there will be a longer question and answer period at the end. So if you do have questions, make a note of them. You'll have the opportunity to ask. We will address online questions as well. For those of you watching this webinar, you do have the online question submission form, so complete that. We will get those questions, and again, we'll play it by ear. We will address your questions when you have them. A couple of things, refreshments are in the back. For those of you that haven't been here in a while, the bathrooms are just out the doors to the right. And because there's a virtual audience, we do have a very sensitive microphone up here. So if you can keep the side chatter to a minimum, if you can, that would be greatly appreciated. Thank you. In saying that, the last thing I just wanted to say is just a quick little story about how this all developed. And I told this story to the speakers last night at dinner. I tell the story to Mark all the time. It actually started on a dirty napkin. We're just brainstorming ideas. There was a napkin on my desk, and Mark came in and he's like, "What are we going to do for the AGM?" And I was like, "I don't know. What do you think?" So he's like, "Modalities. There's a lot of great stuff out there." So I was like, "Well, who do we contact?" And we just wrote down some names. I can't find the napkin, but 3 of the speakers' names were on that napkin, and I just randomly, and I think random is a good word, I randomly emailed them. They had no idea who I was. I had no idea who they were. And they said yes. I ran to Mark's office, and I'm like, "Okay, so they said yes. What do we do?" And this is what happened. The side note to that story is I went to pick them up at the airport the other day. I have no idea what they looked like. They Googled me, so they had an idea what I looked like, but I didn't Google them. So I'm standing at the airport like this, and this is the actual sign that I was using. I was a little bit late, so I'm standing there like this, trying to see if I got an email. And then Jim says, "Dennis," and I look up, and I'm like, "Oh, it's you." And then he goes, "Oh, your sign's upside down." And then I went like this, and I went, "No, it's not." Fine to me. Anyhow, that was my story. So let's just get this talk on the road. I want to introduce Brita. She's the president of the Alberta Athletic Therapists Association, and she'll be doing the introduction to the first speaker.
Thank you. So before I begin and give my first introduction, I just want to take a moment to say thank you to Dennis Valdez, who definitely championed and took a leadership role in organizing this event. So can we just give him a round of applause? So it's great to see so many of you out here. I'm really excited to see you all here and for this event. So most of you know I do teach modalities as well, and we have 3 rock stars in the modalities world with us. This is a chance of a lifetime, and I'm glad you're here to share with us. So our first